Hello, everybody. My name is Laibella Ralston, and it's time for another fun class with Faber-Castell USA. Hello, everyone. I am so glad that you're here joining me for a very fun class. It is not specifically meant for holidays, but it's really a good project to kick off the winter season. I am from Texas, so we don't necessarily have a winter. But right now, the weather is really, really nice. It's been really nice. It's not cold, it's not hot anymore, which is thank goodness. But I don't think there really is winter here, but you know what? Today's class is going to make me feel like it's winter. Hello, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, so for today's class, we are going to play with two different types of pencils. One is the Faber-Castell Polychromos, which is an oil-based pencil, and then the other one would be the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer. It's really hard to pronounce it. It's a German name. Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils. All right. As the name implies, one is oil-based. It will repel water. And the other one is a watercolor in a pencil form. So it means it is water soluble and is blendable with water. So today we are going to play with both and we are going to really explore how we can use them, enjoy them, put them to work to create a really fun storybook children's book type of illustration. And so we're going to create some fun characters. In my sample in here, I have a fox. We can stick with a fox or we can create like a cute bear. But either way, we're going to create like a whimsical animal, a whimsical character. There you go, a whimsical animal character. Okay, hi, Jessica. Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. All right. I'm going to go switch over to this part. Now, of course, because we're going to do a little bit of blending with some water, we're going to need a sketchbook that is going to take some moisture. So a mixed media journal, a watercolor journal, that's going to work. Whatever you have in there, um, as long as it's slightly thicker, it's not just going to drink up and absorb the water, right? The worst thing to do when you're working with a water soluble material is just use a regular copy paper or just a really thin paper. You're not really um, going to appreciate and not getting the best out of that type of medium. All right. So it's really important. I know it's paper is paper, and I say that sometimes too, but to me, it doesn't have to be the most expensive, but use a type of paper that is going to work with whatever medium that you're going to be using, if that makes any sense. All right, so when it comes to colors, if we're going to stick with our fun fox character, I have some, oops, oh my gosh, I broke my pencil. I have some oranges, so I have a light, and you know what I always say, you can have at least light and a dark, or a light and a medium, something like that. And with my blues as well, because we're going to be working with um, snow and winter, so we need some light blue, some middle value, and then a dark value blue. We're gonna put together like a top hat. So if you have like a really dark blue or almost like a dark cold gray, that's going to work. But if you want like a red top hat, you don't have to do that. You don't have to use what I'm using. Okay, and so as you can see here, I have like a mixture of the Albrecht Dürer, which are the watercolor marker pencils. Sorry, I've been working with um, markers all day long, so I have markers in my head. So these are the Polychromos, and as you can see, what makes them different? Again, one is oil-based and the other one is a watercolor in a pencil form. And the build of these pencils are I was talking to my Patreons today. I was sharing with them how much I love the Polychromos because it is the only pencil that can hold a point for a very, very long time. And when you're working with pencils, especially with the details, it's really nice to have a sharp point, to work those tiny details to get into a smaller area. It's really important to hold that point. And it also, it's very strong core. It's not just going to break every single time you use it. And I have a brand that I also love that every time I would use it, it would just break. And it's frustrating. You know, after a while, it gets really frustrating. All right, so let's talk about the colors. I have a light and a medium or a dark orange. So I have a cadmium orange, and then I have the dark cadmium orange in here. And these are the water soluble. And you know, another great product that you can use, this one is from Faber-Castell as well. These pencils they look the same, but they're both very different. One is a Goldfaber, which is also an oil-based pencil, and the Goldfaber Aqua. So you're going to see it there. So one is just Goldfaber and the other one is Goldfaber Aqua. So these are really good pencils to use as well for today's project. So, right, because these brand right here, this is from our green line. So when we talk about the green line, this is the one that you use for like the professional work. But I also love it because the pure pigments, oh, the vibrant colors, it's just mwah, chef's kiss. Okay, so we have our oranges, so that's going to be for our fox. And then I have my light blues. The light, we're going to find a medium color, and I'll find a darkest. This is a good one. So I have sky blue, ultramarine, and then cobalt blue. So those are really good. And these are the Polychromos. Now for our Albrecht Dürer, the water colors would be the light ultramarine. I'm gonna choose a middle. I bet you this is ultramarine. Yeah, this is ultramarine. And then for my dark, I will be using the phthalo blue. Okay, that's gonna work. And then for my dark details and all that, I'm not going to use black. You can use black, but I have this really deep blue, which is the dark indigo, and I really, really love this color. So dark indigo is really nice. You can use that for a top hat, or if you want to make like a bonnet instead of a top hat, you know. But I have other blues in here as well, and I have some brown. We need a brown for the stick arm for our snowman. I just pulled out some browns just in case we want to do like a bear instead, but I just kind of like have it out. All right, I'm going to put all my pencils in here because I have a very small desk. All right, let's clean that. Because we're going to be doing a little bit of blending, we need some clean water. We need some water brush, or if you have just a plain round brush, you know, to use with watercolors with the water, then pull that out. But I think we're good. If you want to use just a regular graphite pencil, you can start with a pencil and an eraser. But to me, I'm going to use my Polychromos pencils today for sketching. And it's going to be part of the textures that we're going to build. All right. Okay. So I'm going to use like a medium value. So I'm going to use an ultramarine for sketching. All right, and let me see the chat. Hey, Laquita, before we get started, I just want to say hello to everybody. Hey, Tina. Hello, hello. Hi, Angie. Happy Wednesday. Oh my gosh, you guys. I am so glad. I'm so glad you're feeling better. Oh, infection. I think it's because of the change of the weather, huh? There's going to be a replay. Yes, it's going to be on my YouTube channel. Okay. So yeah, don't worry about it. Lay down, drink lots of water. You can do this project later on, but sending you lots of love and a gentle hug. All right. Okay. So I'm using a square size sketchbook. If you're using a portrait, I think it's okay, no matter what you're using. But to me, I'm just going to visualize it. I only have two characters today. We have my snowman to the right, and we're going to have our fox on the left side. All right. So I'm just going to visualize like an invisible line over here in the middle. And I'm going to put my snowman here. But let's talk a little bit about the ground first. So we want to set it a little higher. So instead of it being right way at the bottom, I'm just going to use my pencil. I'm just going to sketch like an arch or like a curved line. And I know that this is going to be our This is it. This is where my characters are going to sit, right? So this is my middle. I'm just imagining it. I'm going to put my snowman over here to the right. I'm going to start with a circle for the head, or as circle as I can make it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just like this. Now, when we draw like an adorable type of character, most of the time, if you look up like children's book, you're going to see that the head is almost the same size as the whole body. And it's just because it really does tell a story that this character is adorable. It's so cute. It's huggable, squishable, and all like that. But it just makes it appear more cuter when you have like a slightly larger head, actually much larger head than the rest of the body. Okay, so as you can see here, my snowman's head is pretty large, right? And then I'm going to put the body, and I'm going to make just one instead of a two big balls. So we're just going to do just one large body for my snowman. So it's just some curved line right there. So this color is the ultramarine. If you want, you can start with just a much lighter, but I want to start with this ultramarine because then the camera would pick it up. Because if I use the ultramarine, you're not going to see it. I tried doing it the other day with an exclusive video for my Patreons, and it's really hard to see the sketch. All right, I have established the head and the body. I'm going to go move over to my fox, and I'm going to use the lightest, whatever lightest orange I have. I think I have a slightly lighter, but again, you might not see it, so I'll just use this one. This one is the orange glaze. Same, I'm going to start with just a circle, okay? So we want them to have almost like equal height. Maybe. I think I'm making my circle way too big, but okay. Definitely much, much bigger. All right. So, Tina, yes, unfortunately, you can and you cannot. Does that make sense? You can erase it. I do have an eraser here, but it's really, if you've laid it down like really, really hard, sometimes it's really hard to erase it also. So try to sketch with a really light hand and you can erase it. Look at this. But don't worry about it because um, once you've established the size of your character, that's the most important thing. So while you're still trying to kind of like titter tatter and you're still unsure, I would suggest using a pencil first, just to kind of like establish the head, the placement, the composition, and then you can go back in and then use your colored pencils for that. But I'm just gonna use my because I feel like I got this. I feel like I got this. Oh, please do not regret what I'm saying later. Okay, so I have the head, and I feel like the head is much bigger. I think I'm gonna eat what I said already. Golly. Okay, but you know what? We're just gonna do that. And then they're gonna both be facing one another. So I'm gonna go move the cheek from the right half of your circle. Imagine right top half and the second half. Right in the middle, I'm gonna add like a slightly arching like that. I'm just gonna extend it all the way like this. I know it's gonna look weird, right? Don't worry about it. From here, almost the same placement where that right line is starting, and I'm gonna go make this one, push it way up, just all the way up. So you have a pointy thing right there. Okay, that's good, that's good. Do I need to zoom you guys in so you can see it better? Let's do that. Let's see. There. Okay. All right, I feel like that's good. That's good. Now for our body, it's really not going to have a body because it's going to wear like a blue sweater. So I'm going to just use the blue also, the light blue, the ultramarine color. And imagining the neck, right? So I'm going to start with just half of that trapezoid shape, just like that. just like it. And then I'll do my leg, diagonal lines, 2, and then 2 again right in the middle to separate the legs, and close it like that. You can show a little bit of the leg if you want to before it goes to the boots. And for the boots, we're going to make it slightly big because it's cute like that. Just simple lines, simple lines. Okay. All right. And then for this one, my arm, it's kind of like reaching out to my snowman. I'm going to do it like that. I don't know yet what it's going to do. What should we do? Maybe it's going to give it a... Let's do the hand first before we decide what it's going to give. Maybe a hot drink. So again, just diagonal lines. Just like that. Okay. Small diagonal lines. We're just doing one stroke at a time. There we go. Now we're going to go move the arm like it's just behind it. Right, I think I'm good with this. There. Now for my snowman, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to do orange for its scarf. Maybe we should do red. I think I'm going to do it with the blue and orange. I love, 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 love this color palette. So, you know, blue, orange, and teal. One of my favorite combination. So we're just going to do a scarf. No thinking hard about it. Now we're going to do the scarf that flies away to the side. So just curving lines like this. We'll close it like that. What's exactly, Tina? No, let's just go for it. Let's go hard. Let's do it. Let's do it. But look at me. I have a lot. I'm not going to erase this, and I have a lot of imperfections in here, and we're just going to go for this because trust me, later on everything is going to go in the right place. I hope. That was not so reassuring, huh? Okay, what should we do with the top hat? I think I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in with my dark indigo or Payne's gray. Oh, another color that I love. Payne's gray, guys. Oh, love this color. Okay, for the top hat, we're just gonna do this. Just go for it. Like that. Okay? We're gonna go another line from here. I'm gonna make it really big. I like big top hats. Just like that. Go for that. Right. And you know what we're doing right now is we're already building textures in here. I know it's kind of scary, but trust me. There you go. Only thing that I might... No, I'm not going to erase it. I told you I'm not going to erase it, so I'm not going to erase it. Okay, from the inside. So from the tip of this little arching thing, we're going to go... You can go from your left to the right or from right to the left, whatever it is that you're most comfortable with. I think I'm more comfortable from the top going down or from the left going to the right. Just feels more natural to me, like that. So we're creating like the letter V inside the face, right? And we're arching those lines. Do this like small stroke at a time if you're unsure. Right? Just like that. Okay, I think I can visualize it now. All right, let's get our brown. We're gonna do the nose. Just gonna go in. You only live once. We're gonna go in with the brown. All right, there. I feel good about this. So my left ear is going to appear just slightly bigger than the one on the right because the other one is like on the other side and slightly farther away from us. So just a smaller letter V. Smaller than the other one. All right, okay, okay. In the example that I created the other day, I almost forgot about the tail. So I am not going to forget about the tail. And I want this one to be fluffy because Fox's tail is really fun. So I'm going to go loosen up a little bit. Okay, loosen, and then just like that. So it's like a wave and then connects to the fox. And then from that tip, it's almost like connecting the dots, right? I'm just going to go like that. So, you know, when you're making your letter S, like the S stroke, kind of like that. So just breathe. Now we're going to do a zigzag lines. The tip of the tail. Excuse me, very much. All right. I think I'm good. I'm good. I like it. I like that. Perfect, Tina. Is it bigger? Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to color in the inside of our fox and this part of the tail, right? We're going to leave the tip just blank for now or light. We're going to do short strokes, okay? Short strokes because we want to start with building the texture. Remember, fox is hairy and furry and all that. So we want to build that texture. I really want to have a very thin, what's going to help you is to have a really thin tip, fine tip of the pencil. Look how fine this is. Mine is like super fine, okay? And I'm just gonna do short like this. This is what you do when you're coloring hair, you know, grass. So just really fine strokes. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to follow the flow of our fox's tail. So we are establishing color, texture, movement, and shape. And that's all. I'm good with that. And the same with the body. So we're going to just go, you don't have to make it perfect. One thing that I have learned, and this is just this year, I have learned it this year. I finally start to let go of perfection. Because if there's any important lesson that I've learned learning about storybook type, the children's book type of illustration, is to drop perfection, really honestly. The more it's imperfect and messy and textured and, you know, not symmetrical, the more whimsical and adorable and so cute it is. Because I used to just try to kind of like make perfect lines, perfect strokes, and my golly, with this type, it's really not necessary. As long as you can understand the character that you're doing, you know, it's a fox and foxy, you know, then you know it's a fox. Don't forget the tail, the important the important things about that character you're doing, like for the raccoon, the big dark eyes, for the fox its tail. So you really want to show your audience or you know the people that are looking at your art can really distinguish the character that you're creating. But if you notice parts of the, you know, in the children's book, they make it even exaggerated. You know, if it's a giraffe, sometimes it's like a really short, tiny legs and a really, really long neck. And that's what makes it so fun because each character is so unique and everything is like your own. So it's like as soon as I dropped that expectation of like a perfect realism, real life looking animals, because I was trying so hard and it was not looking good. And the moment I just kind of like drew up, like looking through the eyes of a child, how they see animals, how they would draw. And I'm like, oh my God, I got this. It's so fun. Then I was just creating and creating and creating. And honestly, it's been so much fun. So this year, that was my goal, and I was able to, proudly accomplish that, being more loose in my illustration and not so uptight, and just kind of like really create and have fun, So, and I hope, we'll both all together get there through many different lessons and through many different trials and errors and practice. Together we're gonna get there. You guys got this. All right. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just adding a little bit more strokes here and there. See? Earlier was looking a bit more perfect, kind of like not really perfect, but more like refined with all the strokes. But this time I'm just being maybe a little too crazy, but it's okay. All right. Remember, we're using the Polychromos for this, right? Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to go move in and use my middle, which is the dark cadmium orange. Is this my middle? Yep, this is my middle. And I'm going to sharpen it again so I can really get, ooh, this one is better. Tina, it's the oil base. Yes, oil base right now. Okay, this one is my middle color, and I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to add in more strokes here and there, here and there, here and there. That's why I wasn't worried about the sketches, guys, because I know that it's going to be filled with lots of textures. So I wasn't worried about those sketch strokes because later it's going to look like that anyways. All right, that's good. All good, all good. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my lightest Polychromos blue color, which is the sky blue. And I'm just going to fill this area right here. And I want to make it look like this bottom part of the sweater is like fluffy and, textured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just small scribbles, like almost like this, like just like that. And I'm going to go do it over and over again, like this. And I'm going to do the middle, and I'm going to do the same thing. And this time I might do like something the opposite. So just little tiny spirals. Filling in that. Perfect. And then this time I'm just going to go in with the lightest color, and I'm just going to color this part right here, the whole sweater part, just like that. There. And should we make, I think I'm going to make I think I'm going to make it a her. A bit darker. So I'm going to go in with my darkest blue, which is the cobalt blue. All right, I'm going to use the cobalt. Hold on. And I'm just going to do long strokes to fill this part right here. Almost like making stripes, but very close to one another, the lines. There, just like that. And then I'm going to go in with my dark indigo for the shoes or the boots. And I'm going to do really small spirals or scumbling. Is it scumbling? Scumbling. just to add texture in there. You could also do like a back and forth motion or a stroke. Just a small one to really add some texture inside. Okay, I'm good with that. Hey, and then I forgot, we need like a lighter, maybe like a light tan color, or like what is this one? Like a cinnamon color, for this part right here. If you have like a light yellow, maybe an ivory for the tip, we can use that also. And I'm just gonna go follow like a short back and forth, but being intentional with the space in between each stroke so we can see a little bit of that paper texture, parts of the paper, the negative space, like this, instead of just kind of like going so close that we're going to cover up the whole space. We don't want that. You want a little bit of extra space in between each of your stroke to reveal parts of the paper. See? Just like that. We're just going to fill in whole space, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to do short strokes. I promise you, you're going to fall in love with this style. It takes a little bit because in your head, you're going to see this is like a little kid drew it. And that's the whole point. That's where I want to take you today, is there, in that mindset, like a little kid, right? Like a little kid drew this. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love it. Okay, now shall we do the hand? I will just do it like a hand, right? So I'm just gonna do orange and I'm just gonna fill it in. This is the lightest color of orange that I have. And then I'll go in with the medium. Just do a little bit of that. Okay. And then this time I'm just gonna cover this part here with some color. And I'm going the opposite direction. Instead of vertical, I'm doing horizontal, right? And then again, intentionally just leaving space in between. So you can really see the scribbles that we are creating. So it's almost like mark making as well, right? Okay, and then I'll do the same thing here. What helps is if you have like a fine tip, again, this is going to be much easier. So you have a really like very small, sharp tip. And I want you to take notice how I'm using my pencil. I'm actually rolling it around my finger. So when I know I've used this tip, I'm gonna go do the other side because sometimes it creates like a sharpened edge or area when you've used it, especially sideways like this when it's angled like that. So I'm just doing the scribbles. Okay. You can make pom-poms later on, but later. Okay, now for our snow. You do me a favor, if you have like a really light gray pencil, like a really light gray, like this one is cold gray 2. If you have a cold gray 2, cold gray 1, that's gonna work. Just going to sharpen it. Let's do the gray first for our snowman. I know it's supposed to be white, but we're not gonna leave it just white. We're gonna color it with gray and we're just gonna go do our scribbles. Color it in, color it in, color it in. Just like that. And I'm going to go in here and just going to color it in, color it in. You know, some people don't like using pencils because they said, ah, it takes forever to use pencils. Yes, when you're trying to make like the perfect realism style, then yeah, it will take a little bit. But when you're doing this type of illustration, the whimsical storybook style, pencil, pencil's the best, especially if you have both a water soluble pencil and then, an oil-based pencil. Ah, that's the best. Right, so I have the gray. I'm gonna go over here, the neck area where the scarf is. All good, all good. Okay, and then what color did we use? The dark indigo? Did I use the dark indigo, guys? I think I did, right? Or Payne's gray. I think I used the Payne's gray. Right. So I'm just gonna go scribble again inside. Now, our light source, we haven't done any type of contrast or any shadowing in here. We are just establishing our color, right? We're just laying down colors in here. And as you can see, I want you to really pay attention to the way I'm coloring this image. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm like coloring like a little kid. Remember, the teacher said, go one side. No, I'm actually going over this side and I'm adding like circular motions in there. It doesn't always have to be just kind of like go in one direction only. We're actually breaking the rules today. We're just adding scribbles in here. Uh, and then what I'm going to do, let's establish our dark, light, shadows, highlights, right? So we're building contrast. So I want the light source to be coming from the front, almost like there's a spotlight shining on them. And when that happens, our light source is coming from that. It is casting shadows to the sides, all that. Everything over here in the middle would be slightly brighter, and everything coming away from the light is going to be darker, right? So everything in here will appear lighter, and everything on the left side of the fox and on the right side of our snowman is going to appear slightly darker. So, and this is where the Albrecht Dürer is going to come in place, because that is going to be what we're going to use to create our contrast, our shadows, our bright areas, and our light highlights, okay? But I'm going to grab my orange first, and I'm going to establish the face of my snowman. I'm going to do the medium, so the dark cadmium orange. So my snowman is going to come in, I think it's tilting a little bit. I want you to pay attention to the hat that I drew. So it's slightly tilting. It's almost appear like his face is like slightly tilted just a little bit. So that means our nose should be point slightly higher. So I'm going to go there. So I'm just following the direction of that hat, right? And so I'm just bringing it down, right? We're going to close it in. And then I'm going to go color that area in. And I want to use the light orange, and I'm going to color the tip light. Right. All right, so I think I'm good with my Polychromos for now. We're going to go jump in with the Albrecht Dürers. I'm going to go grab my dark cadmium. So now I'm going to establish the dark, right? So I'm going to go like what we said, everything in the middle is going to appear slightly lighter. So we're going to add our dark in here, because the body is like casting a shadow to this part of the tail. Which part, Tina? Like that. And then here, we're going to go add some dark. I know what you're going to say. If, this is a pencil, then why do we need another pencil? You can actually use the polychromos together. You can use it as a watercolor first because definitely if you're going to use it and you're going to blend it, then it's going to be wet first, right? But you have to wait for it to dry and then you can start building your textures. To me, I like working, especially with this, I like working a little faster. So I just want to establish my sketch. Um, I want to establish my textures, and then I want to go in and add color, like a blended color. That's how I like to work when I'm working with a oil base and then a water base, a water soluble pencils like this. The shadows, I got it. Yeah. So once you've established your colors, then you decide where your light source is coming from. So that's when your paintings, your drawings, your illustrations are going to come to life when you start adding your contrast because it kind of like from a 2D, from very flat, now you're adding a little bit of life because you're just playing with values. So you're just adding a light and a dark, and that would really change a whole lot later on. We're going to see that. Okay, so I've established in the face that goes dark. I want to add in a little bit here also. So just like that. Now for my sweater. Now we know we're going to have to make this one underneath the neck. We have to make it slightly darker. So I'm going to get my slightly darker Albrecht Dürer. I think I have the ultramarine, but I can use slightly darker than that. But we'll start with the ultramarine first. So let's do that. A little bit of dark there. Underneath that arm, let's add a little bit of dark. And if you have a little bit more darker than that, I have the indanthrene blue. We can add just a little bit of that indanthrene. These pencils, they shine like pencils. But once the water touch this, guys, yeah, it's almost like, whoa. Okay, so the arm on the other side, we're going to make that dark because I know it's in the middle, but the body of our fox is actually casting a shadow. And also, it tells the person that's looking or yourself when you're looking at this, it tells you what's up front and what's behind, right? So that's part of the storytelling that you're doing is the movement of the body by just changing a little bit of your light and dark. Okay, I think I'm good. But we're gonna do let's just do the legs also before we move on with our blending. So I'm gonna do this one. This one would appear up front. So we're gonna add a little bit of dark in here to this other side, right? And then I'm gonna do it on this side too, to the left part of the legs, just like that. And trust me, a little goes a long way with these pencils. All right, now we're going to start blending. I'm going to start with the face first. Okay, look at this. It's going to touch it. I'm just dropping water. I'm using a really, really fine brush today because I was lazy to get up and get. Look at that. Activate. You kidding me? The water colors are so vibrant. We might need some paper towel because that is intense. Okay, while they're still wet, I'm going to start blending them up. Let's move those pigments slightly higher. Okay. I'm going to go make this side also. Just whatever pigments are in here, I'm moving them on that side. And as you can see, every texture that we have created earlier, that's not moving. It's going to stay there. And that's why I love establishing all of that first instead of the other way around. I used to do it the other way around. I would use the pencil and use it as watercolors, and then I'd go back in and add my texture. For some reason, I like this way because I already have this whole picture in my head. So when I just add my blended colors, it's just like an icing on top, honestly. Right. And then we're gonna do have a paper towel here on the side, just in case I am adding too much water. Because I have a really small painting today, drawing. But this is so cute. Okay. And then blend, 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 blend. And whatever is in there, I'm just gonna add a little bit to here. We're gonna add some textures there later. We're gonna add some stripe to the arms, just so we can make that stand out and separate from the body. Yikes, I'm moving too fast. The good thing is you can erase it with water. Just pick up anything. And then again, that's where that perfection comes in. It's like, I was trying so hard to be so clean and neat before. Now it's like, oh, well, mess. But it adds to the charm. I promise it really does. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it just like that. Look at there. I feel like I'm missing something in here. I want to add like a little bit of yellow, a little bit of warmth to that. So if you have like a light yellow, remember I was talking to you earlier, like a really light yellow, orange, something. This one is good, dark cadmium yellow. So I'm just gonna add in a little bit. Let's start with just a little bit because these are really vibrant. Yeah. Sarah, I'm actually going to make mine, I'm going to add a little bit of blue to our snowman. Because later on, the blue is what's going to make the snowman white. I know it's so weird, but it really does. So add in here. Yeah, this color is really good. Dark cadmium yellow. That's a really nice touch. That was a good call. Just kind of like I don't know, I just changed it. Okay, and then I'm gonna use the same indanthrene blue and just pick up a little bit. Never ever, even with your Goldfaber Aqua, do not dip it in water because you're going to ruin the core of your pencil. So even when I'm like picking up, no notice that I'm just picking it up from the pigment itself. I'm not trying to get that wood wet, so we want to avoid that. We don't want to ruin our pencil. So when I'm working with these pencils, I make sure that I have like a tiny brush, so that I don't ruin that tip because I like using it also later. I'll show you to create splatters and we're gonna play with that later on. Last part. Having a smaller brush or just being careful. It doesn't have to be a small brush. You can use the water brush later on, but we're just gonna be really mindful how we're using it, okay? All right. So now I want to add a little bit more texture to my fuzzies. I'm going to use the light cadmium red. So this is the darkest orange that I have. And I'm going to add scribbles inside my snowmans like this, but horizontally, right? And I don't want it to be perfect, so I'm just going to go fast. Sometimes working fast helps me to lose a little bit of that control. Okay, and I'm gonna go do the opposite in this one. So it's kind of like doing lots of loops, right? Just making lots of loops. And this helps to give that fuzzy look to it. And then I'll do the opposite and go on this side. Lots of different loops. But I'm still following that flow and that shape of, here we go. And then you can add in like little tiny things at the end of that scarf. Look, so cute. Okay, I'm gonna make sure to clean my brush really well. All right, we're gonna go use the ultramarine color in the Albrecht Dürer. This, we want the water soluble one. So around the neck, remember what we did with the fox? On this area right here. On this area also. Bring it down. All right. Okay. Make sure to clean my brush, that there's no orange in there. Just clean it. You can activate the pigments first by just dropping water. Mm, okay. Just gonna use that. Cleaning my brush, taking off excess water. Because we want the concentrated color to be around where we've laid it, right? So we're just kind of like moving the colors a little bit at a time because I don't want to be super blue. So I'm just kind of like moving it back to that side and then cleaning my brush as I go. And then pushing it again. You're pushing the pigments. You're manipulating where the colors are going, right? So you're just going to like stay in there. So that's still where that concentration is. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So it's really, really handy to have a paper towel close by, or me, as you can see, I'm holding it as I'm coloring. And look, I have like little imperfections over there, and that parts, it adds to the charm. So don't worry about it. Just kind of like blend it, blend it, blend it. Like that. And I want to show you what it looks like so you can see that it really is imperfect. See? Like parts of it like that. And I love it actually. I really do. Great. Like that. We're gonna have to wait for it to dry. But so let's go start work on our top hat. I'm just gonna add a little bit of blue to this. So again, I am on the right side of my snowman because that's where we want our colors, so that we can add that shadow, but also adding some color. And I'm pushing with lots of water. Cleaning my brush, adding a little bit of water so I can move the pigments just a little bit of the colors. Still, that concentrated color is to the right, but I want to move a little bit of that pigments, a little bit going to this side. Clean my brush. The clean brush, I'm just going to move a little bit of those, and just like that. As you can see, all the colors are still there, but we've also added a touch of that color to the left, just enough, right? If we want to add just a little bit dark, we can use the same color, the indanthrene blue, and just add just a little. You can add more contrast. You can also just pick up the colors directly from the pencil and just kind of like add. Please, guys, don't make me forget the snowman's um arms. 'Cause I might forget. Well, I guess we don't really have to. We don't want to. So there, I'm just establishing more of the contrast right there. That's good. See how it looks like a little children's book story, children's storybook. I love it so much. And again, your application is going to really matter. So if you're trying to be so perfect for this one, try not to be. Try to be just as playful and just as loose as you can. It's okay, Sarah. That's okay. You can probably just add a little bit of water. Try that. So you can maybe pick up a little bit of the pigment and move them around, or use like a paper towel if you want to. Right. So of course I want to add a little bit of dark over here as well, but I'm not going to use this dark blue. I'm going to use the ultramarine that we have. Okay. I wanted to establish that over here as well. And then maybe use the light ultramarine over here and there. All right. I'm going to use the water brush because this one is larger. Just going to clean my brush. Okay. And then just go over here like that. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Sarah. Just kind of like maybe go in with your light color. Maybe you can save it. Go in and just blend it. There you go. Lots of water. And we want to bring all the pigments down. Okay, while that is drying, we can use our dark blue color of the Polychromos. I have the cobalt blue is what I'm going to use, and I'm just going to add some stripes in the arms. Ay, ay, ay. Sorry, I'm going to go clean up my sharpener. Okay. I am just going to use paleo reddish, any dark blue. Okay, I'm just going to use this dark blue right here. And we're just going to add some stripes. Right here. And follow that shape. And I'm just going to go in and add a little bit more there. I'm also going to add in like a separation of that shirt so we can see that that's separated. Right, that's good enough for me. Okay, now I'm going to use our Payne's Gray or maybe the dark indigo. Is this dry? I think it's dry. I'm going to add in, nope, not yet. You're going to know when it's not dry because your pencil will kind of try to resist it just a little bit. So I'm going to help it. I'm going to help my paper to dry a little faster. How's everybody's work doing? There you go. That's when you're gonna know that your paper is not completely dry because the pencil will kind of like working but not really working. It's crazy, but you're just gonna know the more you use your art supplies. Like, why is this not working? This used to work because the paper is still wet. Oh, I love this one. I actually like this one better than the sample that I've created. Isn't that crazy? I like it much better. Okay. This part is still wet, but it's okay. See? Look at this. So now you have that working. See? Because it was still slightly wet earlier. Right, all good though. I think I'm going to add a little bit more like texture in here because I want to. You don't have to. I just really want to establish that dark and going light. And then just also adding some texture scribbles in there. Right, I'm going to do my eyes. Aw, that's so cute. I'm going to add a small mouth. So adorable. Okay. And then I'm going to do my fox. And then this one's going to appear slightly smaller, remember? And then also a small tiny mouth like that. Okay, now it's time for rendering. I am not gonna forget my snowman's arm. Oh, we can't forget that. We have to color that in. Color it in, color it in. How about we add a little bit of pop of another color? How about we do that? I'm gonna add a teal, okay guys? Let's just do it. Because ruin that eraser. Parts of the pencil is like stuck in the eraser. I mean eraser in the sharpener. Fix it later. I'm gonna use a cobalt green, very pretty color, one of my favorite colors. And I'm just gonna color this in. Now, if you're using like a watercolor paper, you're gonna have a bit more texture, which is I actually love. So isn't that crazy? Like just by using like a different paper, yours will look different than mine because mine is like it's a hot press, so there's not a whole lot of texture in here, but it's okay. Look at that pop of teal. Isn't that lovely? That's lovely. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of that dark and I'm gonna add it here. Like that. So you can really show that contrast there. I'm gonna go in with the middle color just so I can blend it up just a little bit. And then the lightest. And then just push that. Love that. Ah, I love that snowman's face. I'm not gonna forget the arms. But I just want to add a little bit of blush and I'm just using a very pretty pink color, like a blush color in here. I'm just going to add my blush because this is not going to be a lace Hawaii without that blush. I'm going to add it to the other side too. Oh, so cute. So cute. Okay. Then use the dark indigo like that. Mm. So adorable. And I'm gonna add just a smoke, like a steam. Oh, stop it. This is so cute. I'm gonna use a little bit of this light phthalo blue just to add a bit more like cool blue to the ground. And I'm just gonna go literally, just go back and forth, back and forth. Oh my gosh, guys. This is so cute. Stop that. I want to add a little bit more texture to my fox though. So I'm going to sharpen this and I hope I don't break it because I need this color. This one is my darkest orange in here, which is the light cadmium red. And I'm going to add a little bit of like hair sticking all around my fox, right? So just little tiny, oh, like this. I have such heavy hands. Just like that, like a hair sticking out. And I'm not gonna be worried with the direction. Some are like sticking to the over there, going upwards. Some are like sticking downwards, you know. It just really shows that this is a hairy fox. And try to play around with your space and that. And I'm gonna go in, side, just that. And then we'll do the same thing. I'm gonna go with my middle or the lightest, probably the lightest, and do the same thing and add some more hair sticking out. And probably just blend in some parts of those hair that I've added earlier. And if you want to add a blush to your fox also, you can. Might need like a deeper pink than this because it's not showing. And I think I'm going to add this teal color and I want to add a bow. I want to add a bow. So 2 bunny ears. Do not overthink your bow, guys. It's almost like an infinity sign, right? Or a number 8. And then just 2 things hanging. Oh my gosh. Stop it. So cute. I want to add more orange in here so we can really see the leg like that. So we don't really have an outline, right? So this one is like we didn't do any type of um drawing or line art. Look at this. We did it. But we're not done. We're almost done. Almost. I'm going to use the light ultramarine. And this is where we're going to create our splatters. Right? And I'm just going to go, be careful. Just use the tip. Just go really at the tip of that. And I'm just going to go make some splatters of the blue. It looks like snow. Yikes. Sorry. I was kind of like, whoo. I couldn't speak. Hausa. And I'm just going to add some small asterisk in here. So cute. You can also just add dots, you know. But those splatters are like added texture to your illustration. You can also do 2 values of blues for your snow if you would like. Ta-da! My golly. I'm gonna do the sky blue. And I'm just adding imperfect dots everywhere. And guys, this is it. This is our illustration for today. It is so adorable. I hope you enjoyed this very much as I did. I know I had such a wonderful time, and I hope you did too. And I hope this would inspire you to really not be afraid to explore and feel like a child again and give yourself permission to create like a child without the inhibitions, without that expectation, without that overachiever, person inside you. And I know I'm the same way. And I just kind of like, oh, this is not perfect. This is not right, So stop, stop. May this class be a reminder that it's okay. It's okay to make mess. It's okay to make different marks, and little bit of stroke at a time, you can create such a beautiful illustration, such a beautiful scene here, right here. Look at this. We created this, guys. Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. But before we end this class, I want to say thank you so much to Faber-Castell USA team. Please do show them some love. They are the sponsor of our weekly classes. Without them, I don't know where I'll be, honestly. They've been such an amazing company to work with. They have supported me in so many ways, and I'm grateful, and I'm so incredibly humbled to do this every week with all of you. Thank you guys for showing up, because without you, um this is nothing. So I am so grateful for you. Thank you, Sarah, for your question. Oh, yes, I'll be teaching classes in January, but however, I am going to stream them live. Um, I'm actually going to post them live because unfortunately, I'll be out of the country for the whole month of January, but I will be posting the classes same time every Wednesday. It will be up every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. It's not going to be live though, but there will be classes every Wednesday that we're going to do. Okay. So that's for the whole month of January and probably the first 2 weeks of February as well, because there's so many things happening in my life, personal things, but I will be providing you with fun classes for that first 2 months, even though I'm not going to be live, but I'll be there answering your comments and all that. So make sure to check out and come back every week for our new classes. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week, because next week we're going to build textures again, but in a different way, using a different medium. So we're going to explore this a whole lot. I have the sketch that I need to color, but Mr. Bear right here is waiting, but this one is going to be different because we're going to be using our pastels, right? So soft pastels and also pastel pencils is what we're going to be working with next week. So I'm super excited for that one also. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very, very much. I will see you again next week. And as always, stay creative and stay happy. See you guys. Bye.